Hi, hello. So this is the third time I'm trying to film this. I filmed this video once on the Geelong foreshore today with beautiful lighting in Mum's car, in her combi van. It was beautiful, it was sunny, it was nice, it was great. The audio quality was terrible and there was people yelling and I was distracted and it was just really close to my face and it didn't go well. I didn't say what I wanted to say. So here I am, take 2 in my apartment. Sun was still up. That was great. My neighbour talking through it. I thought you wouldn't be able to hear, but you could really hear. So take 3. Here I am. It's now really dark outside. I'm still in my dimly lit apartment. So I'm very sorry about that. But here I am. So I'm here to talk about, and I'm sure you can tell by the title, that I'm here to talk about why I have decided not to have a vertical sleeve gastrectomy, which was up until last week the plan. And instead I'm going to have an RNY, Roux-en-Y bypass, gastric bypass. So what this video is not going to do is talk to you about the difference in the two and what you should choose. And because they're both great surgeries, they're the 2 main surgeries now that surgeons do, or in my experience. And I'm not going to discuss really the pros and cons of them, and I'm sure most of you know what they both entail, so I'm not really here to educate you. There's a lot of great videos if that's what you're after, but I'm going to talk about my emotional roller coaster that I've been on the last 2.5 weeks, and the decision-making process this week just gone, because I've now decided not to have VSG, which is what this channel has been about so far, and I've changed my mind and I'm going to have RNY gastric bypass. So to sum it up, I saw my surgeon a couple of weeks ago now, and I went into that appointment and my other pre-op appointment with the nurse at my surgeon's office, already having decided to have VSG. That was what I went in there asking for. That was what I told them I was there for. And the nurse at the pre-op appointment, she didn't question that at all. And it wasn't until I met the surgeon, who I met second, and he said to me, you know, why have you decided sleeve? And I said about my concerns with RNY being more invasive, the recovery time being longer, the rearranging of your intestines being a little scary to me, and my concerns about malabsorption down the track, because I have had problems with my vitamin B12 especially, and I worried about being malnourished basically for the rest of my life if I did that. So I explained all that to him and he listened to me intently. He was amazing. He was so sweet. He was really great, and he did listen to me, which was exactly what I would have wanted. But he basically rebutted every point that I made and told me that he thinks, basically because of the amount of weight I've got to lose, and it's quite a lot, it's significant, and because of my age and the fact I have to keep the weight off for like maybe 60 years, or more, hopefully, I guess, that he thinks RNY might be a better option for me. And I said to him, actually, all this conversation happened kind of just hypothetically, and I said to him, you know, do you think then you would recommend RNY over the sleeve for me? And he said no, basically. He said, just making an argument for either. You could make a great argument for either. You made a good argument for the sleeve. You know, I'm just discussing that option. I'm happy to do the sleeve if that's what you want. And I said, yes, that is what I want. That's what I came here for. That's what the surgery that I'm comfortable with. And I left that appointment thinking I was having a sleeve. I was booked in. I was signed my consent form in his office. I have my informed financial consent form. Everything was completely set. They discussed the pre-op for VSG. They booked in my dietitian appointment. It was all happy days. And I joined a couple of Facebook groups that were for all kinds of weight loss surgery. And I read posts and thought about my surgeon's words for maybe 2 weeks. And I had this gnawing feeling like in my gut that I was making the wrong decision. And I think that stemmed from a fear of failure. And I'm not really going to get into it too much because that's a very big issue in my life. I have a real fear of failure, and it has held me back and does hold me back from things. And I think I may have been reassuring myself about my fear of failure with the sleeve, in that it's okay, you can have a revision to RNY if it doesn't work. And that's ridiculous because, for me, it's ridiculous because if I go into something with that thought process, I worry that I wouldn't be able to make it work. And VSG is an exceptionally successful surgery. You only have to look at YouTube to see that. And, you know, Facebook groups like the couple that I joined, and my surgeon who does VSG and has success, and, you know, all these success stories. VSG is a very successful surgery. And I watched my mum have great success with it. But I think it was the headspace in which I was going into that. And I just worry that if I didn't make the right choice, that my head would play games with me. So having heard the things that my surgeon said, and they made more sense than my concerns did, you know, like a big part of it, a stupid amount of it, was that he said I might need about a week longer off work if I had RNY. And I was like, I don't want to have another week off work. But in the scheme of things, if he thinks I will have a better outcome with RNY, taking an extra week off work is no big deal. And I've waited this long to have the surgery, and I've waited this long for my work situation to be at a point where I can take, you know, some time off. That another week off, it's not the end of the world. It's not a big deal. So things like that, just little things that were niggling at me in my mind, in the back of my brain, going, are you making the right decision? And I think once I decided that, you know, maybe I wanted to listen to his advice and have RNY, because he did say, you know, he was happy with either surgery. He said, I'll do either surgery. I'm happy to do the sleeve on you. That's fine. But I felt like his advice was to have RNY, and he rebutted every concern that I had, and he said that his inkling is that my long-term success would be greater with RNY. And he agreed with me. I made the point that I think success with either surgery is really going to come down to the lifestyle changes that I can make afterwards, and not the actual surgery. And he totally agreed with that, but I felt like he felt like that was the right thing to do. And I think I have to go with my surgeon's recommendation. I also had a dietitian appointment on Tuesday of this week, just gone, a couple of days ago. And it was at that appointment that I spoke to the nurse at the office about changing surgery, and she agreed, and we talked about it at length about why I was changing my mind, and my surgeon's recommendations and things like that. And at my dietitian's appointment, I was actually really pleasantly surprised. I went into it a little bit with my eyebrows raised, because I felt like maybe I wouldn't really get that much out of it. It was really expensive, and I was kind of like, oh, I don't know. I've done a lot of research online. I know what I need to do in pre-op. I know what I need to do post-op. Like, do I really need to have this long appointment? But that was so naive, and I would encourage anyone who has even that slight thought, like, it was amazing. She was great. She was so friendly, and she also talked at length about the differences between VSG and RNY as far as nutrition go, and that was really helpful. That was a really helpful conversation for me to have with her. And she told me that she treats, and my office treats, the post-op phase of RNY and VSG the same, and all the precautions, like for vitamins and blood tests and things like that they take for RNY, they also take for VSG, even though it might be slight overkill for VSG, because nutritionally the recovery is easier with VSG. That was her take. She said she treats them the same. So for her, it doesn't really matter if I wasn't 100% decided, but I was. And she helped me, I think, also make that decision. So she explained things like dumping syndrome and the fact that I may or may not experience that, and what it is that I'm experiencing when that's happening. Things like that really well to me, and I really appreciated that conversation. So yeah, I don't know. I think it was constructive for me to talk to my team, my healthcare team, my dietitian, the nurse, the surgeon, and I did feel like I was really well researched, and I was on VSG, and I did some research about gastric bypass, but obviously not really enough. And talking to especially my surgeon just kind of opened my eyes and just laid the seed that is a very realistic, reliable, long-term successful option that I could take. So I think for my headspace, and also for because of the significant amount of weight that I have to lose, that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to take his advice, and I feel really good about it. As I said, this is the third time I've filmed this, and talking about it, especially the first time, I felt really set in my decision. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to go down this path. I'm really excited. It's, I think, 31 and a bit days until my surgery, so in 31 days it will be tomorrow morning, which is really exciting. Calling it a month basically now. Which is so exciting to be able to say. I think it's like 4.5 weeks now, so it's Tuesday in 4 weeks. Yeah, so I'm really excited. I feel really positive. I think this has been a positive kind of experience for me, rather than a negative one, even though it has been a bit of turmoil, I guess. But yeah, that's really all I've got to say. So if you have any input on this whole thing, you can feel free to leave a comment. I love reading your comments. I just absolutely love to have a chat with you guys. I feel like this is such a warm, sweet, really supportive community. I don't know that I've seen anything negative anyone said at all. It's been so amazing. The whole, in the whole community, it's just so positive and supportive, and I just love being a part of it. So thank you so much for anyone out there who watches and comments or doesn't comment or subscribes or doesn't subscribe. Just thank you for, for being a part of it and being so supportive and sweet. I guess that's really it. That's all I've really got to say. I'll be back next with a video about how I'm going to get through the pre-op phase. I'm going to take OptiSlim rather than OptiFast, and I'll make a video about how I plan to deal with all of that, with shift work and things like that. Yeah, and that will probably be my next video. Yeah, it's going to start ramping up and getting exciting, so here we go. Anyone who's having surgery around the same time as me, comment down below. I met a couple on Facebook actually, which was really nice. So thanks for watching.